Vegeta stood beneath a vast golden sky. He was no longer kneeling in the shadow of anyone. No more humiliation, no more rejection, no more being forced to live beneath the legacy of others. Here, the Saiyan race was his to command. His father stood before him, proud at last, not broken, not mocked, not shamed by tyrants, just respected. Vegeta had surpassed them all. Frieza lay defeated at his feet. The Super Saiyan form had been his long ago, not stolen or delayed, but earned through blood and fury. The universe bowed before him. Planets burned beneath his orders. Entire armies trembled at the name of Vegeta. And then one final image rose before him. Beerus, the god who had once humiliated his father, the god who had made the proud Saiyan royal line bow its head. Vegeta faced him as well, not as a prince, desperate to prove himself, but as a conqueror. Using the power of legend, he struck Beerus down, and the whole universe watched. Now, he stood over the fallen god in silence, breathing hard, his pride burning brighter than the stars. This was what he always wanted. This was what he had always been denied. Then the world shifted. The sky cracked, and somewhere in the distance, a roar echoed through the heavens. Vegeta turned. A battle was happening. Not here, but someone else. An enemy unlike the others. Majin Buu, the strange pink monster, surged through a war-torn world. The kind of absurd, impossible opponent that could only come from eons past. The fight was chaos, destruction, and fury all at once. Vegeta lunged, trading blows with the creature. His fists crashed into Buu's body. Buu's attacks slammed back even harder. Then, during the fight, Vegeta looked up at the full moon. He stopped for a moment, his eyes fixated on it. The moon's reflection stirred something inside him, the power of the Oozaru. Unbeknownst to him, back on the battlefield of the real world, Vegeta's body trembled. His aura exploded outward with terrifying force. The ground shattered beneath him, his frame began to swell, bones cracked and shifted, muscles expanded beyond any reasonable scale. His tail lashed behind him as the transformation completed. Vegeta became a great ape. His colossal statue towered over the battlefield, a monster of pure Saiyan might, his roar shaking the air itself. The surge of power ripped through the illusion around him like a blaze through silk. The Genjutsu snapped. Vegeta's eyes followed the crimson light back to its source. The moon. The thing that had dared to control the world. The thing that dared to control him. He frowned, furious. "You think I'd let something like that chain me?" he snarled. Then he opened his mouth and unleashed a devastating beam of ki straight into the sky. A roar of energy burst upward, brighter than anything else on the battlefield. The moon was struck dead center, and then it shattered. The red light vanished instantly. The Infinite Tsukuyomi collapsed. Across the world, the Genjutsu broke in a heartbeat. The roots of the God tree pulled back and withered. The shinobi trapped in the illusion gasped awake, their bodies twitched as confusion and terror replaced the dream haze. All around the battlefield, soldiers opened their eyes in shock. The sky returned to normal, and the nightmare was over, for now at least. Madara's expression changed. Without the moon's reflection and with the God's tree destabilized, his control faltered. His chakra flared wildly, but it was no longer the same. He had lost his perfect world, and that made him furious. He turned toward Vegeta. The great ape stood like a living disaster, breathing heavily, steam rising off his body. Madara launched forwards, the truth-seeking corpse ready to strike him at once. However, it was too slow. The great ape's fist came crashing down like a meteor, smashing Madara into the earth with enough force to split the battlefield wide open. For a brief moment, there was silence. Then the rubble began to move. Madara's body tried to heal itself. However, Vegeta wouldn't allow it again. "Still alive," he said with a broken voice. He opened his mouth, just slightly. A sphere of ki gathered in it, before erupting outwards. The explosion swallowed the entire battlefield, vaporizing everything inside it. And when the light finally faded, there was nothing left, not even ash. Elsewhere, Nappa had taken advantage of the chaos. Any remaining white Zetsu, any stragglers, any shinobi still trying to fight back, he finished them without hesitation. One by one, the battlefield was cleaned out by brute force. Naruto and Sasuke stood among the wreckage, both battered, barely standing, both staring at the two Saiyans, like men trying to understand the force of nature. Naruto's breathing was racked. He stared at the smoky crater where Madara had once stood. "We couldn't even slow them down." Sasuke remained silent for a moment. Then he looked towards the departing Saiyans. Not today. Their gazes met, and without uttering a single word, they both understood. There was no victory to be found here, only survival. Without another word, the two disappeared into the trees. Somewhere, there had to be a way to defeat monsters like this, but today was not that day. Vegeta had by now reverted back to his normal form. His breathing was rough, not from the physical exertion, but from having years of his dream life erased in an instant. He looked across the ruined world one last time. Then, through clenched teeth, he spoke. "Let's leave, Nappa. This planet..." He stopped there. He didn't need to say anything else. Nappa, having seen his own version of a perfect world, said nothing. For once, he didn't joke. He just turned and obeyed. The Saiyans returned to their pods. One after the other, the machine sealed shut and launched upwards towards the shattered sky. The battlefield below was left in silence. Then, once they were in space, Vegeta stopped. He opened his pods. The cold vacuum surrounded him, and below hung the lonely planet. He stared at it for a long moment. Then, lifted his hand. A ki blast gathered in his palm, a single move that could end it all, and yet, he stopped. He sighed. "Not worth the effort," he said before leaving. Soon, the Saiyan pods became nothing more than distant stars, before finally vanishing into the endless darkness. The world had survived, barely. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. And if you want to watch any more cool interesting what ifs I've prepared, there should be 2 videos appearing on your screen right now.